Hey, it's Dan. Welcome back. Today we're going to do 10 preposterous things about the stimulus package and the EIDL loan that you may or may not have heard already, but they are ridiculous, okay? Before I get started, please like, subscribe, and share this with your friends and colleagues too, okay? I appreciate everybody watching. Channel's growing. Thank you all so very much. First things, positives. San Diego, beautiful city of San Diego. I live about 70 miles away from there. The County Board of Supervisors just passed $17 million plan to help restaurants and small businesses with grants and money via loans and things like that. So again, do your search in your local community and see if they're going to help you. Fort Worth, Texas did another thing where they got stimulus money from the federal government and they were going to give out a couple $1 million worth of grants, and they decided to give local businesses $12 million, over $12 million worth of loans. So again, do the research in your community and you'll be surprised. There's going to be people and there's going to be money to be lent to you guys. Couple other positives. I spoke with a contractor who's not a client of mine, but I just was curious as to how they were doing, and they are having the best May that they've had in years selling home improvements right now. And single home improvement, getting in the house, pitching people through the window and giving prices that way, and then once they're in the house, then they're talking about all the other services that they have, but they're having their best month ever. And another success story of mine, one of my clients, is a tape company that wanted to get into the medical space a few years ago, and I had convinced them to try to come to my events and to promote themselves through my mixers and things like that, and to try my connective marketing where they meet everybody in the industry. And you know, you may meet an engineer, a designer, different manufacturers, different suppliers that have nothing to do with your industry, and now these guys, everything's paid off and they're flooded with orders. Plus, they also did a pivot where they're selling face shields during this time. So one of the clients that they met through us has convinced them to do these face shields, and they're selling them like crazy. Okay? So let's get into the 10 preposterous things you may or may not have known. Now, number one, these are not in any particular order. This is just insane and insanity and completely preposterous, one of my favorite words. And number one, okay, the number one reason that people are turned down for EIDL loans is credit, okay? Now, number two is insane, okay? The second most popular reason that people are turned down for EIDL loans is that the SBA said that you did not suffer an economic injury, which is ridiculous, okay? We have a frozen economy. 99% of the businesses are closed right now, but you own the business that did not receive any economic injury during this time, and they're not going to give you a loan, which is just insane, okay? I just don't understand that, okay? You guys must all own Netflix or Walmart's or something like that. It's completely ludicrous. The second one is there's a proposed bill in California, and they have one in New York City as well, where they're going to let, they have proposals right now where you can extend rent and you cannot get thrown out if you're not paying your rent. Well, they've done that on commercial buildings as well. But what Senate bill, I believe it's called AB 939, that they're doing here in California, is if you have a commercial lease and you cannot negotiate a, quote, favorable lease with your landlord, you can get out of your lease at this point. And I think this is a terrible precedent, because there are businesses, let's face it, that before all the shenanigans started, and I can't say what it is, but you guys know what happened. When that happened, there were businesses that were not doing well, and they were probably 2 or 3 months behind on their rent, and now they're going to stiff their landlords and not pay these guys. So I think that's horrible, because our vision of a landlord is everybody, it's the monopoly game where you have the big rich fat dude with the monocle, and that's the fat cat landlord. That's what that's supposed to be. But these are people that basically, some of these people may own one commercial property and they're getting shafted. They've still got to maintain the property and not getting rent, and then this person's going to leave their donut shop and not pay rent and not be responsible. Now, they're trying to make it so they've got to pay no more than 3 months, but still, it's basically a walk away, okay? So, the next one is the second round of proposed stimulus checks that they're talking about and waving in front of everybody. Hey, there's going to be another $1,200 for you guys, is ridiculous. One thing I've done through the years is I was suckered in 10 years or 20 years ago or so. I'm going to show my age. It was that I had to do our school reunions, the high school reunions. And so I'm in contact with a lot of people I went to school with, even junior high. But, there's one woman that is disabled who has not received her stimulus check. And she's like, do you think we're going to receive a second one? And they haven't even received the first one yet. So, yes, there's been $140 million checks issued. But there's a tremendous amount of very, very sick people and poor people that have received nothing yet. Okay? Number 4. There's a lesser known thing where there's over 37 oil companies that have gotten tax refunds already, where they've gotten $1.9 billion in CARES Act benefits already, and one offshore drilling company, Diamond Offshore Drilling, used the funds to pay bonuses right before they filed bankruptcy, which is fantastic. Some of the biggest beneficiaries included a company called Marathon Petroleum, which I've heard of, and they gained a $411 million benefit, and deeply indebted giant Occidental Petroleum anticipates a cash refund of $195 million. You guys can't get 25 grand, but these guys got $195 billion. Also, number 5, there's a rapper, okay, that is out there, Arkansas Mo, who asked for a PPP loan. He asked for $3 million from the bank. He said he had 107 employees. He's a reality star, very talented individual, and he got $2 million, okay? And allegedly, he used the money to lease a Rolls Royce, buy a Rolex, okay, which is nice, and he's going to pay some past child support that he needed to pay. But anyways, I think the problem's not with Arkansas Mo. I think the problem is with the banker that lent this cat the money in the first place. You can't get 25 grand, but Arkansas Mo got that money. Number 6 today, CVS received a $43.3 million payment through their Medicare program, but CVS did the wise thing and immediately gave it back. They have their minute clinics, and they felt it wasn't right to take this money. So ridiculous that they got the $43 million, but CVS did the absolute right thing and gave it back immediately. And, okay, number 7. Much of the $500 billion in stimulus money that was to support small businesses has not been dispersed yet, okay, to state and local governments. That hasn't been done yet. Plus, there's also $46 billion that was earmarked for the airline industry and for business critical national security services. That hasn't been done. The worst part of this is $195 billion, only $195 billion has been spent of the $450 billion that they were going to use for small business lending. So there's over $250 billion that has not been lent to small businesses. And again, you cannot get 25 grand from these people, but somewhere out there in La La Land, SBA, Fantasyville, there is $250 billion that's not been lent yet, okay? Number 8, one of my favorites, okay, and that is that people that are sick can't get their stimulus money, but they have sent a tremendous amount of stimulus checks to dead people. So there are people that, now you can say, oh, grandma just died 6 weeks ago. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people that have been dead for 4, 5, 6 years that have been sent stimulus checks, and you can't get yours, or you can't get your loan either. So kind of ridiculous. The PPP program the loan forgiveness program, the SBA came up with guidelines. Now, remember how this was pitched to everybody. Hey, this is going to be the easiest thing you've ever done. You're going to take this loan out, and we're going to forgive it. You're going to bring your employees back. It's that simple. Not that simple. I know someone that borrowed a lot of money, over 240 grand, and they are freaking out because it's so demanding and what the requirements are to get the loan forgiven. Now, if they don't get it forgiven, the payments are like $11,000 a month for this thing, and they're due in 2 years, okay? So some of these businesses, you're going to see a lot of people that took that PPP money that are in serious trouble after trying to do the right thing, okay? I spoke with the SBA today, and I love conversations with these guys that starts out, hey, what's new? What can you tell me, Dan? Okay, that's how they started the conversation. I wish I had it on tape because it was so insane. They're not going to answer anybody's questions with as far as the PPP program. They don't want the liability. They want you to go to your accountant. So think about that. The company or the agency that's responsible for the program is referring you to your accountant. So let's hope you guys have good accountants and they know what they're doing. And right now, number 10, the final thing is the new stimulus program, the one that people are talking about right now, is not going to move forward, okay? It needs bipartisan support, and this is not a political channel, but there is not going to be bipartisan support between now and Memorial Day, which is what, a week and a half, 2 weeks away, okay? So that's not going to happen. The other thing is right now, the average family has used 56% of their credit card debt to pay for their current bills right now. So that's a beautiful, beautiful stat, and it's a bad, bad sign. And again, negotiate with your creditors. Don't make deals that you guys cannot afford right now. Put people off. Tell people to work with you. Pay the bills you have to pay right now for your business, okay? Good luck to everybody. You know, please do not give up on getting your PPP money. You can see the money is there. They still have money to lend right now. Ask them for it. Break it down. They are making decisions on those reconsiderations. So please reach out to them and try to get them to give you an answer on it. Good luck. Please like, subscribe, follow, reach out on Facebook, on Instagram, and all that stuff. And I will see you guys soon. Okay? Thanks.